Hi, this is Curt Gowdy, 2,000 feet over the bush country of Labrador. Lee Wulff is flying us into some fantastic brook trout fishing, some of the wildest country you'll ever want to go over. I'd hate to go down in this country. Tough time getting out, wouldn't you?
There's a lake right down there. Somebody'd come for us, or we'd have to build a raft and go down the river if they didn't.
Got a lot of lakes to get into, haven't you?
Well, the lakes flow one into the other usually, a long way around, but you can get right down from here into the Hamilton and back to Goose.
How far away are we?
Oh, about 30 miles more, and we'll be over Minipi watershed.
Well, look at that beautiful stream.
Trout in that, but not very many. And the big ones are up ahead. As soon as we get over the next range, why, we'll be down into a different watershed, and all the lakes in that watershed have big trout. It's just getting into a little one. We can get into a small one with this plane and get away from the other anglers. All over this country, there are planes flying now, and pilots anxious to find good fishing.
Any bear around here?
Yeah, bear, caribou, lynx, otter,
and brook trout.
and brook trout.
There's a nice smooth landing.
Now to get this.
Good looking beach.
Yeah, it won't take long to get camp up. We'll be organized tonight.
You want first, Lieutenant? The action?
Yeah, that's okay. I think right in there would be all right.
Yeah.
If you clear out a little, we can put the tent there. I'll get the ropes off the canoe, and we'll get set.
Don't forget the bug juice.
Okay.
Looks a little buggy in there.
We'll need it.
Okay. There we go. Little home away from Wellesley Hills.
Well, that's our summer home for a few days.
Shall I give her a whirl?
Okay, see if you can get in. Wait a minute. Don't let too many bugs in. What's it like inside?
Oh, it's gorgeous.
All right, when you get a sleeping bag in there and maybe some trout before we go to bed, you'll be all right.
And a little change of clouds and something might give the picture, huh? This is wild water, and the trout were ready and waiting. Beauty. Brook trout really ran, but here he goes again. That's a strong trout. Nice one, Lee. Just when I thought that trout was about ready to come to the canoe, the fly pulled out. According to Lee, there are plenty of trout in this lake. A few casts should bring another strike. Ah, he's right. Another good brook trout from the lonesome waters of Labrador took my fly. I kept thinking, no hatchery truck has ever been within 1,000 miles of this place. They don't teach trout to fight like this in a hatchery. I've caught plenty of wild trout, and these are wild trout, fighting instinctively and fighting hard. You know, Lee had told me they'd run about 4 to 5 pounds on the average, and this average trout fishing at Minipi is really something to dream about. This average brook trout, all 4.5 pounds of him, headed straight for the frying pan. And we headed back to camp with the satisfied feeling of being right where we wanted to be. And tomorrow promises to be a day to remember. Well, pretty good breakfast. What about the fishing?
I think the fishing will be just as good, maybe better.
How long have you been bush flying in here to Labrador?
Well, since 1953. I started in Newfoundland in 47, and I like it down here.
Brook trout wouldn't have anything to do with it, would they?
They did.
Yeah. You know, when Joe Brooks and I made that trip down to Argentina for those brook trout, they were originally imported from Maine. They were down deep, though, and we had to use sinking fly lines. It wasn't as much fun, probably, to be here.
No, these fish will be up on top. The water is warm, 57 degrees, 60 degrees here. The flow is good, and we shouldn't have any trouble catching them on dry flies, or the worst on streamers.
Ooh, casting arm boy, pitching and ready to go. What do you say, huh?
Let's go.
A fellow named Paul Kakanen in Worcester who came up here. Well, he said yellow and red was I knew you'd have all those wolf flies, so I thought we'd have a little variety.
Well, Paul knows that fishing business, too, and he's right on the yellow and red. In fact, it's the brighter and more active a fly is, the more likely it is to work. These fish are looking for something pretty good size to eat, although when the mayflies come out later in the day, why, they'll settle on mayflies, and that's when you have your real good fun with dries. May have to work a little for them. When the river's low, why, the fishing's easy. Now, in this high water, fish are spread all over, and they're full of food, and it really makes you work, even though the fishing is as wonderful as it is here.
I just can't help but think that before civilization spoiled it, the brook trout fishing from Pennsylvania to Maine was probably even better than this before we brought civilization to the New World. And that this is just about the last of the good, unspoiled eastern brook trout fishing anywhere on the continent. And that perhaps in a few years, this will be just ordinary too, because neither we nor the Canadians have taken the necessary steps to preserve it.
Boy, that's nice. You might as well put them back. We'll get lots of them. We keep one of the last ones in the evening to eat. He's okay. He'll get a little bigger. We're not getting any real big ones yet.
There he goes. There he goes. We tried to have this branch set aside as a fly-only, put-them-all-back area to save it forever. But so far, it hasn't been done. And soon it, too, will be just like all the other accessible places. I've trout fished all over the world, many, many years in my native state of Wyoming. But the memory of this eastern brook trout fishing in Labrador is something I'm going to cherish for the rest of my life. They're right for me. it goes. Nice turning. Old Gowdy special, huh? See a brook trout jump like that? Big one. That's a nice fish you got. You gonna net it now? Yeah. How about that double header? What? Couple 4 or 5 pounders, a double header. That isn't bad fishing, is it? No trouble with these fishes, they won't fit the net. Come on. There you go. Boy, look at the coloring. I think mine's just as big. I think he's about as big as yours. Just a general run, and a fly came out already. We can save him later. Boy, this place loaded with water, isn't it?
Water all over.
They're fishing all these lakes?
Fishing all of them. Some places there are small fish and some they're big ones. I have to find out where the big ones are, and then when you get a good lake, you kind of keep it secret.
Might as well bring those rods out, Curt.
All right. Get to work. If you call it work.
Thank you. Best work in the world.
Better place.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Well, moving water in there, huh?
Yeah, little moving water. It's a good place, and there's no rush. There's nobody going to beat us to it.
I don't
And
think
there's
so.
nobody been here, I don't think, for maybe a generation or so.
Get over here. Come on, baby. Come on, come on, come on. Oh. There we go. Oh, these are beautiful fish. Beautiful. Look at the color. Oh, Lee. He wasn't a very gentlemanly fish, this one. Good exercise. Fish are lying down a little deeply.
Well, sometimes they do when they're well fed.
Oh, there he is. He came right up and took it. Beautiful. That streamer hadn't got down there 3 or 4 feet when he hit that. I better take one up on top. He hit right in close that time. Flap that tail, baby. Oh, what a beauty that is. Look at that baby. Man, is that coloring something. That's worth 10,000 miles just to look at the coloring. Got a lot of brook trout, but I'll tell you something. Look at that coloring and the thickness of that baby. Mm. Oh, drops of heaven. Look at that fish has been hit. Hip does something. There we go, baby. Oh, this is going to be the best part of a 1,500-mile trip.
Well, these trout are as good eating as they are good looking.
I've had a wonderful time. You know, there's only two things I want you to promise me. One, you'll take me salmon fishing with you.
Well, that's not too hard.
And the second one, don't tell anybody about the fishing up there.
Well, I've never taken anybody else into that spot we fished, and I promise you I never will. I'll save it for us.
It's great. Good you brought that fly tying equipment with you. We're about out of those red and yellow streamers. Hate to have you go to work, but we need some more.
Well, red and yellow, pretty good combination up here. Flashy. These fish like something new they can see. They're not very sophisticated, these Labrador trout.
No vice. No vice, Mom.
Saves a lot of trouble. I just learned to tie flies when I was a kid and didn't even know there was such a thing as a vice. I got so I could tie even the smallest ones without it.
This is your newest pattern, isn't it? The Scraggly Wolf?
Yeah, that's a Scraggly Wolf. It's got a real buggy-looking body, and I don't think anybody's made anything quite like that before, and I think fish will like it.
There's a body like a bumblebee.
Well, it's supposed to be a bumblebee, that pattern, and trout like bumblebees. I've seen them hit the water and come right up with a splash for a bumblebee. I think we'll catch some fish on that one.
You know, one thing that's amazing to me about these big brook trout up there in Labrador, you and I have fished with little 18 and 20 dry flies, is how they like a big fly.
Well, these are big fish. They want big flies. There's not an awful lot of fish in this water, but when you find one that's a big one, he's cruising around looking for a real good meal. And this is the kind of thing that will really pull them up when they're not feeding on mayflies.
Wow! The real testing of a fly is not whether it looks beautiful to an angler, but whether the fish will take it. It goes out to swim where the trout should lie in this branch of the Minipi.
Missed it. Look at him.
These big babies are starting to roll up at the top now.
There, he's on. The magnet count. Hey, it's a pike.
Boy, you got something there. That looks like about a 5 or 6 pounder at least. This fish puts on sudden bursts of speed, then stops and comes in like a log. A knowing angler will be able to pick up a pike by a hold with finger and thumb over the eye sockets. It partially paralyzes the fish, keeps the fingers clear of those razor-sharp teeth, and allows an easy release.
Curt, this is one of my secret weapons. Bucktail fly tied on a number 10 hook. It makes a big, bushy skater. Now, most anglers think a fly as big as this skidding over the surface will scare trout, but I found it makes trout or salmon mad instead of scared, and when they hit a big skating fly like this, it's real exciting. They chase it, and they miss it a lot, but it stirs them up.
You know, I never saw a fly like that in any tackle store. In fact, I never saw a skater bigger than a 16 before. How do you use it? The same way? You skid it across the surface in little jerks?
That's right. I save it for the tough fish, though. When they're holding back, you know, they're smart and not too hungry. Sometimes it'll make them angry enough to strike.
Sounds exciting.
I'm going to try a big bucktail skater. I got a tough one out here.
Looks like that mayfly hatch is starting to come out.
I think maybe he'll take something real lively. He's coming short on these other flies. Isn't often you get a smart one down here that's so hard to catch.
I just missed a nice one down here. He really came up.
I think this will do it.
Doug.
Hey, Curt, he came short again. He touched it that time.
Son of a gun.
Came short again.
Got a real good one, Lee. Come on. Look at that baby girl. Oh, boy. That's a strong fish. Strong. Oh, these brookies are powerful. All right, come on. Whoa, 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 whoa. Who's you? Couldn't even fit him in the net. Oh.
Dog.
Just barely hooked him the other side. All right, baby. There you go. Boy, he was so strong, he yanked right out of my head.
Damn.
Hey, that's a nice one, Lee.
Boy, look at that.
You know, they say at first the fisherman wants to catch all the fish and never can catch enough. Later on, as he becomes more mature in the sport, he wants to catch the biggest fish instead of the most. And finally, when he's a seasoned angler, he wants to catch the tough fish, those individual fish that are hardest to catch and the most challenging. Even in a place like this, where no one ever cast a fly before, an individual fish can become a real problem to catch. And that's the big thrill of angling. And I hope that somehow the trout of this great area, here in the Minipi River in Labrador, will be preserved. That for generations to come, anglers can stand where Lee Wulff stands and catch big eastern brook trout like this. The Canadians can save this wonderful fishing if they put their hearts and their minds to it. The way to save it is to fish with flies and put the fish back. As Lee says, a good game fish is too valuable to be caught only once.
What a fish. That skater finally got him.
Hey, terrific. Look at the coloring.